Give yourself more credit on where you are in life. I get it. I feel for you that you might not be exactly where you are in life. You might have went to school for 4 years, got a degree, and now you're working at a job that you didn't even go for school for. Or you were in a relationship and you thought, wow, that person was the one. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. Here's the thing is life is very unfair. But this is the part where you have to give yourself more credit. Give yourself on the credit of how far you came. There's times where in life we might not see this. We don't recognize this until we sit down and really think to ourselves, wow, there is a lot of change in life. And you'll be surprised, a lot of people do not change in their life. Some people will stay exactly the same for decades. And personally me, I've seen that. I see it all over. And that scares me. So I know anyone that's watching this right now, you definitely made a change in your life. And if you haven't already, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to pick something up and try something new and go all in. And know that things might not work out. But even if things don't work out, you tried. A new solution will come upon you. But here's the thing, I'm guilty of this. Not giving myself enough credit. Here I am, 24 years old. I thought by now I could move out of my hometown, get a different job, get a high-paying job, and I guess things would have been a little differently. But it didn't. Things actually worked out opposite. Things actually didn't work out at all for me. But oftentimes I also do reflect on things, thinking about maybe things did work out exactly how it should have been. And here I am working on my own. I'm self-employed, working online. And I guess maybe this is a time where I gotta give it one more shot. This is a time where I have a little bit more time where I don't have to work a 9 to 5 yet, and I can still try to make this work. But I don't know. Maybe this is just me being naive, and maybe I should get a job. But I also do give myself credit on trying to make this work. And with that being said, you gotta remember that a lot of things is out of your control. You see, you might be 25, 28, right? And you might be thinking, by 30 years old, I'll have kids. By 32, I'll be married, right? But oftentimes, those are really out of our control. We don't get to really say or do when we want kids or when we get married. I mean, yeah, sure, you can try to plan it, but you can't. I guess in a way, I'm trying to say you can't predict everything, unfortunately. Things are going to work out not accordingly to plan. And sometimes they will, and it will be great. But then you're going to have to face different problems when that time comes, right? So I guess in a way I'm trying to say is that everything that you try to plan, you can't plan everything 100%. You can plan maybe 80% max, maybe 85. But another thing is, on top of all that, is that, and I hate to say it, and this could be totally blunt with you guys, is that life is unfair. Life is so unfair to everyone around us. Life is unfair to me, to you. Everyone has their unfair advantages. Everyone has their own different perks on getting somewhere in life, right? Bringing it back to maybe a business, right? Compared to me and you. You might have better unfair advantage to scale a business than I do. I might have a little bit more unfair advantage than I do to you. Same thing could be about having a family or having kids, or just anything in general for that matter. It's just sometimes life is unfair. And you can dwell on this. You can think about how unfair life is. You can be so mad at this, or you accept it and you try to make it the best that you can. Because this is a concept where it comes down to you versus you. At the end of the day, it is you versus you. And I know you probably heard this all the time. It's you versus you. It's whatever. But I know it's basic advice. But at the end of the day, if you can remember that, you become the best version of yourself, you will outshine yourself, surprisingly. You can't compare to yourself can't compare to someone that is 10 years ahead of you, or you can't compare yourself to someone that already done it twice already, or 3 times already, especially if it's your first time, right? So this is the idea of the fact that it's you versus you. Another thing is behind all this is really understanding the concept of just knowing that you have to reflect on it. I don't know if you journal, I don't know if you overthink sometimes, but when you do journal, when you do reflect on things, recognize your progress, recognize your small wins, recognize what you have done in the last month or so. Because when you start to do this, you start to realize like, damn, I have been making progress. Yeah, I might not have made the big goal in mind, but I have been making change. I have changed my habit. I have changed my diet. I have changed my way of how I speak to people. And when you do this, you start to see progress. You start to see, damn, I am winning little by little. You know, I never used to do this. I was like, yeah, all right. But when I started to journal more and reflect on my small wins, I was like, I am making progress. You know, it's like little by little, I'll get there. It won't happen overnight, right? And there's times where you'll beat yourself up thinking like, damn, this is never going to work out. Or like, damn, all the odds are against me. But when you reflect on the small wins that you achieve throughout the month, you start to feel good about yourself. You start to feel, yes, it is about me versus me. It is a world that I'm facing of unfair advantages. But eventually I'll make it. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. And peace.